Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the electric vehicles and the estimate that has been made saying that India would be world's fourth largest EV or electric vehicle or electric car maker by the year 2030. So yes, just in another 5 years, we will be fourth largest EV makers. So let us see where we are presently, how much of an increase are we estimating, is that possible, and if that, then will there be that much of demand? If not, then why would be making so many EVs by 2030? So let's get started with this news. So what's the news all about? See, the current amount of EVs that is being manufactured in India is 0.2 million. So 1 million is 10 lakhs. So here we can say it is 2 lakh is what we are talking about. Now, India, the news talks about India becoming the fourth largest EV manufacturer in the world. So to become that, we'll have to, of course, increase the production. And it is estimated that by 2030, India will achieve around 2.5 million units. That means 25 lakh rupees. So that is over 10x of growth. So 0.2 is present, 10x of 0.2 is what? 2 million. So 0.2 plus 2 million itself is 2.2 only, but we are talking about 2.5. So that will be over 10x of growth. So over 10x growth in just 5 years is what we are estimating. And once we achieve that, where will we stand? This is where we will stand. At fourth place will be India. Who are the top three at the moment? China actually leads the entire EV market, if you can see. So entire market is being led by China, close to 60%. It's almost 2/3 that there, of course 8% less than 2/3, but still majority of it is owned by China. After China, you have Europe. So we are talking about the entire European Union, not just one country like Germany, which is actually quite famous for production of cars, but for the EVs, the European Union combined together is going to give 23%. And then you have the United States. This is the present build-up over here, the present breakdown over here. And then the rest, other markets, means the rest of the world are very few, because the others, many countries are not such producing as such at all. It is these countries that are leading. China, when it comes to manufacturing, be it manufacturing of anything, China of course leads, of course does very well in it, and in EV it is leading. Then you have European Union. So China will be at 29 million. That means 29 million means 290 lakhs. That means 2.9 crore. Here it is 90 lakh. Here it is 60 lakh. India will be about 25 lakh. Quite less. In fact, 1/10, less than 1/10 of China. But since after China, only two nations are there. If you consider European Union as a nation, then India can come, because at fifth and all, the numbers are quite less. Of course, competing China here is nearly, or practically you can say, is impossible, at least in the foreseeable future. So this is the present situation. That is where we will be going. Now let's talk about the domestic demand versus the capacity. So with respect to capacity, we have seen till what we will grow, but will that demand be there? If not, why will the capacity increase? So if we talk about the demand, electric vehicles demand in 2030, the demand will be, it's a quite rough figure. There are reasons for that. The figure is about 0.4 to 1.4 million, means 4 lakh to 14 lakhs is the figure. Now why it's a rough figure? Because it depends on a lot of things. It depends on even the production of EVs, the utilization of EVs, or wanting to buy EVs depends on whether you will have charging infrastructure or not. Will it be easy to charge or not? There are so many things. Also the performance, power, etc. Many things are there. Some people do like petrol vehicles, some like diesel vehicles, etc. The power, the battery, the run that you can go without charging. You want to go to remote areas, you want to travel the entire country. All those factors come into consideration. So of course, when the infrastructure related to EV also improve, the people who would want to have EV would of course increase. Presently also there are certain benefits. For example, more environment friendly. However, here also the issue was it is electric vehicle and electricity majorly was produced by thermal power plants, right, which use coal, which is again not a quite clean source of energy. But now our energy has transitioned. Now we have more amount being produced through renewable energy sources, so it's getting better and better. The second thing is it is cheaper than petrol and diesel, of course, so that is also there. In addition to this, if you provide ease also, it will help, because presently you need to have charging stations. If you are living in a society it does not have a charging station, then what do? Many societies are now coming up with charging stations inside the society in order to help you charge your vehicle overnight, etc. Alright, in addition to that, government charging stations, private charging stations are also coming up. So as and when the ease increases, the people wanting to have EVs will further increase. That is why still a rough estimate, but this is the demand that is estimated. When it comes to the capacity is 2.5 million units, as we have discussed. Now, there is a surplus, of course. Even if we say that 1.4 million units demand will be there, still a surplus of 1.1 million will be there. If demand is just this one, then the surplus will be 2.1 million. So, why will the market manufacture so many EVs when there is no demand? The reason here could be export. You produce it to export it. The manufacturer earns the money, the government earns the foreign exchange, your trade balance improves, so on and so forth. So that can be one consideration. If we look at the breakup of 2.5 million capacity, how have we achieved? Or we are saying that we will not, we are saying it's a report that says that India would achieve 2.5 million. So let us understand how this is possible. It is actually a very practical calculation that has come out in the news, saying that presently operational is 0.25 million. Ready but not online. That means this much amount of capacity is ready to be manufactured but not online, means it has not started. There can be various reasons. Reasons could be the clearance has not been given to them. They have not been cleared to manufacture. They are waiting for license, registration, etc. As a result of which it is ready. The capacity to build this much is ready but not online. When you have under construction, 1.3 million capacity worth is already under construction, and another 0.7 million has been announced. So this is the breakup of our 2.5 million capacity in the next 5 years. And if you look at it, it has been on the rise only, and in the future also it will be. If you talk about India's EV market share, which are the companies that are owning in, so you have the Tata, MG and Mahindra. Tata, of course, MG, that is Morris Garage, and then you have Mahindra who have that. Now these combined together consist of 90% market share which is there. Now EV penetration in 2024 is just 2% of the total car sales. That means for every 100 car that is being sold, only 2 are electric vehicles. But even our transport minister had previously said that he has a vision to replace all the cars with electric vehicles. Maybe that dream might still be far-fetched, but at least the intent is clear that more and more percentage of EV vehicle is what we want. So in the coming years, you will see this number increasing, and hence the percentage of EVs increasing. So if you look at this, as I said, MG, Tata and Mahindra. So MG, ZS, this is a particular brand, a particular car of this particular brand, which is at 5th. This is the fifth highest selling. Then you have Mahindra XUV 400, which is at 4th number. Then Tata Tigor, Tata Nexon, Tata Tiago, which all have EV variants in them, are the ones that are selling. It has more than 90% of the share. Now, if you look at the global comparison of production, let us have a look. We have few more countries who will be behind us, which we will see as well. So, of course, we have already seen China, European Union and USA at 1, 2 and 3. Now, what are the countries close to India? South Korea and Japan. So, India is estimated for this. The estimates for South Korea and Japan is this. So, why we need to know this? Because there can be certain, if there are certain challenges, we are lowering it, they may improve it, increase it, so the numbering could change. But presently, this is the scenario. Now, one key insight that has been given in this analysis is It is very easy to say that, okay, demand is less, but we will produce more because we can export. But to export, one thing needs to be considered, that your production cost should be cheap. That is one thing. That's when it will be beneficial. You have to provide the same quality at a cheaper price. That's when you people will want your product. Second, the issue here is China is involved, and to produce cheaper vehicles or or let's say cheaper equipment, be it electric vehicles, when you are competing with China, it becomes difficult. One, because of course they have huge economic commercial power, huge amount of subsidies, this that, they can simply throw money at every production problem that they might face and provide huge amount of subsidies. Of course there are measures to counter these subsidies by imposing the let's say anti-dumping duty, etc. But even then, technological advancement, better technology makes it easier. Technologies are developing within the country, so you won't have to buy it, so that also makes it cheaper. So there are various, then you have these various reasons which makes it cheaper for their industries to manufacture the EV. So same quality might come cheap over there. So that is where India has to really buckle up, pull up their socks and ensure that we are manufacturing EVs at a cheap price. Maybe if not able to outdo China, at least outdo other countries. And why not even try to outdo China? Because we are of course also not less than any other country when it comes to achieving certain things. We have done great things in other sphere. If you talk about the satellites that have been launched, the Mars mission, the moon mission, at very cheap prices, so cheap that other countries want to send their satellites via our vehicles, right? So of course this is also achievable. So it is said that if you want to get the benefits of producing so much, you have to produce it at a cheaper rate, which will give us the cost competitiveness. And of course it will be aligned with India's concept of make in India for the world. Earlier, Make in India vision came in 2015-16, wherein Make in India. So Make in India, whatever we want to use, Make in India. But now that has been enhanced. Now it's not just Make in India, that is there. In addition to that, Make in India for the world, for others also, let us make it. So it helps in that. India's policy approach, what is India's policy approach over here? India is basically having industrial policy and market incentive. That means if you are wanting to produce EVs, you will be incentivized, product link subsidies, etc. would be there. Then consumer subsidies with localized mandates, means use of local things in the manufacturing units. Support for battery and EV components is also important. The support structure also needs to be there. Investment in charging infrastructure, that is a very important thing that will increase the demand of EV in India also. Imagine you have taken EV and the charging points are not nearby. So for charging only you have to go 4-5 kilometers and the car is running only 230 kilometers. So you have to keep on charging every now and then, right? So high import tariffs also could be imposed on the EVs from other countries coming to India in order to safeguard Indian companies' interest. However, this would be a conservative, inward-looking, deglobalized kind of a policy, but to some extent, we may be required to do that, but we need to ensure that simultaneously our production cost is reducing, efficiency is increasing, demand is increasing, and the production increases so that we can reap this benefit. Thank you.